because of my friends, my family, my history, my father, my godfather, the organization. Nothing comes before that. This is my job, and I love Miami. I respect it really well. They opened the front door for me, and really, I got a lot of love for them. They're very outgoing, very appreciative of me. I mean, I can't say enough for Miami as well, though.
But San
Francisco will always have my #1 spot. And there's no reason to even argue that or make any gestures toward anything negative. It is what it is, and that's my home, and it will be different for me to be in a different dugout.
And different uniform,
But I look at this as my job. I don't look at this as, me going, against my hometown or anything like that. I just doing my job.
Do you think it'd be funny for the people there seeing you in a different with the M and?
I always say I don't have fans in San Francisco. I have family. All those people have been my family since I was a little boy.
Yeah.
And if we're family, we're always family. And that should never change. Willie went to New York and did some things. All of us have come and gone, but my heart will always be at home. And, I love them with unconditional.
How has the job of hitting coach changed? I think Bill Verdon was probably your first hitting coach, and Milt May, your dad. How has that job changed?
Bill Verdon, he was my outfield coach. Was never my hitting
coach. No? Wasn't he the first rookie year?
Bill Verdon was the best outfield coach I ever had. Ever. There's no outfield coach in the pro besides my dad and Willie. I mean, I'm not trying to. They were a little bit better. But, as far as a coach goes and hitting outfield, there's no one that worked my butt harder. No one that prepared me better in the outfield than Bill Verdon. No one on the planet.
How has the job of hitting coach changed, though?
Hitting coach was my father. Always has always been my father. Milt May was really, really good hitting coach too. So I had Pentland. I had a bunch of great hitting coaches. Dusty, he could hit too. Gave me some tips. Felipe could hit too. Gave me some tips. I've come across. I was very lucky throughout my life and career to have a few good hitting coaches. But my dad was always my #1 hitting coach.
So in teaching these guys, which is a philosophy you pull back on?
There is no real philosophy. It's actually trying to bring out the best in each individual person. My philosophy may not work for that person. It may have worked for me. I got to figure out how to tap into his ability. My ability I already tapped into. It's over with. So that does nothing for him. If I can't tap into his ability, then we go nowhere.
How interested are you seeing the starting pitching matchup tonight in regard to Fernandez?
It's going to be a lot of fast pitches.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
When you were playing,
don't blink because you won't see it go across the plate.
Do you see any staffs, maybe that Atlanta staff when you were playing, that kind of compares in terms of the young talent that the Mets have on their rotation right now?
Nothing compares to the Atlanta staff. Don't even go there. It's a waste of conversation. You guys try to compare stuff, but you can't compare to that staff. It's not even funny.
When you played, you had the reputation for working hard and studying. You had the reputation for working hard and studying things, but there's so much more information available now, and the batting cages and visiting clubhouses and everything available. Would you have liked that?
No.
Did you think it was overload?
A ton of it is. Because when you get on the field, it all becomes the mechanics. What did any of that information do to you if you have no mechanics?
Right.
Nothing. Now, if you want to go to Harvard and study it, go right ahead. You get an A. But on the baseball field, our A is what we do mechanically, what we do, on the field. Like I say, ball players, we're monkey see, monkey do. If you show us something, we can do it. But if you're asking us to read a book or understand numbers or statistics, you got us. We didn't graduate from that class.
So we're prepping guys tonight. I mean, you got two pitchers here that, going based on analytics, they're the two guys that get the ball to the plate the quickest, biggest spin rotation. Do you go over any of that with the batters at all?
Yeah, we actually, every team does. You have to, you feed the guys the information. They're going to keep whatever they want to keep in, and they're going to throw whatever they want. But once you get into the battle on the field, that whole thing could change, and that pitcher could change, and then it becomes our job as coaches to decide, recognize it, see that, keep the guys motivated, and see if we can pick up some things that are going wrong that may be able to help them, because the guy's not a machine out there. So statistically, it's a stat based on, but he's not a machine out there. He's human. He'll make adjustments. He'll make changes, and so we have to adapt and make changes with him.
Let's talk to Stanton about working with you, and one of the things he said that he's talked to you about was that when teams don't want to pitch to him, and obviously you had to deal with that probably more than anyone, at least in the modern game. How difficult was that for you, and how difficult do you think that is for him to
for me, it came a little bit later, and for him and these guys now, like Harper and them, it's going to come earlier. So, I just emphasize to him that, you're really going to have to stay focused. There's a lot of times where it's very easy to get too relaxed and take things for granted, in a sense to where, the guy's not going to pitch you, and just relax yourself too much, and then you get that one pitch and you pop it up or something like that. It's you guys are going to have to learn that consistency of staying in it and staying focused, or I don't know, pretend BP in your brain, or whatever you got to do. You're going to have to stay focused.
What did you do? Because obviously you were able to do that when you got the one pitch. Do the damage.
I was able to master that thought process, and I just told them it's going to take time, but the sooner you start doing it, the better it is going to be for you, because you guys are beasts. It's not like you aren't great ball players and can hit the ball out of the stadium, and ain't no one going to just sit there and let you do that. You're going to have to earn it. So you might as well focus and start teaching your mind and teaching your body how to do that early, because you guys are going to get it a lot earlier. It took me, I know I was like 6 or 7 years down the road or something when it really started happening. When I got to San Francisco, when it really became big. For them, it's going to start a little bit earlier in their careers, and that's a lot of missed at bats. I walked 2,000 plus times. Like, I missed 5 years if you have 500 plate appearance and never swung a bat. And you guys, that may happen to you guys a little bit earlier. And so if you start, putting yourself into that mindset earlier in your career, you might have greater success, throughout your career. And that was just all.
Personally, watching you and Ozuna in the dugout last night, you were keeping him up during his at-bats. You were so happy for him, especially when he hit that home run. How would you describe your reaction when you finally saw him have some success at the plate?
He works so hard, and he wants to do so well. And I've been there, at a young age. You get out there and things just don't fall in the right place. But he's swinging the bat. He's happy. Him doing that, I was like, now he can just relax, and I was so happy. I stood on the stairs. I was like, boom. I said, it's about MF time. But I was like, because I seen him in spring training. I watched him. He has so much talent and so much ability, and he has great heart, and he's got pressure. People is putting a lot of pressure on him because he could be a 30-30 player and stuff like that. And I don't want him to put that on himself. Just be yourself, play the game, and let God take care of the rest of it. So I was really happy for him at that moment, because I know that feeling of wanting to do great for your team, and then you feel like you're failing them. And I don't want him to ever think that he's failing us, because we need him, and I appreciate him on the field.
Is that the satisfaction you can get from coaching when you watch someone who has put in the time, and maybe to see them? Can you?
I can relate with them, because I can sit there and say, guys, I was 17 for 100 at one time. I've been here before. We keep going at it. We just keep going, and I'm going to ride and die this with you. And if you, as another player or teammate or coach, if you believe in that guy, he's going to work hard for you, and he's got to know, if you go down, I'm going down with you. If you go up, I'm going to go up with you. And it doesn't matter. I don't see you as a failure. I see you as trying really hard, doing what you got to do, and it's not working right now. But you hit some line drives that they caught. But it doesn't mean you're in a slump. Let's just keep hitting line drives, and eventually they'll fall. You're going to get a couple of cheap hits. You're going to get some of it. Let's just have fun, dude. I'm going to ride this out with you, and I'm never going to turn my back on you. And as a ball player, that's pretty much what you need.
That's what you want from him.
Personally, where would you like to see your legacy in the game 5 years or maybe 10 years from now?
My legacy? I don't even know how to answer that question. I really don't. What do you think it should be?
What do I think it should be?
Yeah, I mean,
It's also a tough
I
question,
entertained
but
you guys, so what do you think it should be? I mean, why are you asking me?
but personally,
I mean, how do you feel how I did?
I think you did pretty well.
Well, what do you think? I mean, you got to see it. I
love watching
performed it. You're asking me a question that I was on the other side doing something, and you're wanting my opinion because you don't want to give your own? Or do you just want to say Barry said? I don't know which one is it. It's a trick question. How did I mean, how do you really feel about it?
It depends. I mean, as a player,
No, you haven't answered my question.
The way I feel about it is there was no greater home run hitter, but then there are questions that people from the outside that we don't know about. So,
But those are people you need to ask them that question. You don't need to ask me. If you feel I did something that entertained you to a point where you're happy, then you should write that. If you feel I didn't, then you write that. But you shouldn't ask me a question. I gave all I had on that field. You know what I mean? I did everything I can. I hope I did a good job enough for you guys to remember and be happy and do it. If you don't want to, God bless you. Move on. There's another generation you can write about.
Barry, what's it been like sharing hitting tips with Ichiro, talking hitting with Ichiro this season so far?
Well, Ichiro, all I say is you're great. There's really much to talk about. Well, you know, the funny part is, what do Ichiro and I have in common since you asked me that question?
Tied for his 2.
Exactly. So, when he gets the one hit past me, I'm going to get that baseball in the house. That's what I'm going to do. Because I'll be like, you finally passed me. I got to get in here.